tightness in the hips are common complaints from horse riders. Being flexible and mobile in the hips isn't about being able to do the splits. It's about having the right mobility around a stable pelvis. Tightness, or lack of flexibility, is particularly prevalent in riders who spend a lot of their days sitting at a desk, or, dare I say it, for those over 40, because we tend to lose mobility and flexibility as we age. This is why we really need to work on our own body as much as we do with our horses. The wider a horse is in the back, the suppler you need to be, allowing for a greater range of hip abduction. On a wider horse, you need to be able to open your hips without just turning your knees out, as this just rotates your thigh bone, further restricting the movement of your hips and compromising your balance. If the rider's hips can't swing, lift or move freely with their horse, then the rider will block the movement of the horse and possibly even compromise the horse's back. When done properly, this movement of the hips should appear like stillness, when it's actually a combination of mobility, suppleness and strength. The following few stretches done regularly can really help unlock those sticky hips. So without further ado, let's get down onto our mat and look at these stretches. The first stretch or movement I'm going to suggest is the butterfly stretch. You need to sit tall on your sit bones and bring your knees up towards your body with the soles of your feet touching. The stretch itself really improves the flexibility of your inner thigh adductor muscles, as well as working your hip flexors. Okay, so sit tall, bend your knees, soles of feet together and hold your ankles. Then with a straight back, lean forward from the hips, resting your elbows on your inner knee. And then hold. I'm going to hold this for a count of 30. Breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. Breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. Breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. And then slowly restacking your spine and coming back up into the starting position. Now if you find that you can't sit up tall in this position, then there's nothing wrong with folding a big towel and sitting on that towel. So you take your hips slightly higher than your feet. The next exercise is what's called a seated twist, and it's a gentle spinal twist that opens up the hips and opens up the chest. So you want to again sit up tall with your legs straight out in front of you. You need to be able to sit in alignment, so you want your hips or pelvis in neutral with your rib cage stacked above your hips and your shoulders stacked above your rib cage. Take your right leg, bend the knee and place the right ankle by the left knee. Okay, then you're going to turn to the right, placing the right hand behind your hips and your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. And hold this for a count of 30 or 3 breaths. So that's breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5, breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5, breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. And straighten out your legs, and we'll do exactly the same thing on the other side. So your left foot comes up and is by your right knee. Take your left hand, place it behind your hips, and then rotate further, place your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Again, breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. Breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. Breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. And slowly rotating back to centre and uncrossing your leg. Next 2 exercises, we're going to start in what's called relaxation position. So basically you're lying flat on your back with your pelvis in neutral, shoulders relaxed, chest wide, hands beside you, palms facing down. Breathing in, you need to engage your pelvic floor muscles and your abdominal muscles. Breathing out, float your right leg up into what's called a coffee table position or a single knee fold. Breathe in, and then breathing out, float your left leg up into the same position. Now you're going to hold this position. You're going to be holding it on the activation of your core. You're going to work on keeping your hips perfectly still, only moving from the joints. Breathe in, and on an outward breath, open your left leg to the side. And breathing back, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, taking your leg back. 3, and back. Hips stay still. 4, and back. 5, and back. 6, and back. 7, and back. 8, and back. 9, and back. 10, and back. Now we need to do exactly the same thing with our right leg. So, breathing in to prepare, making sure that my pelvis has remained in neutral. Breathing out, opening my knee to the side. And back. 2, and back. 3, and back. 4, and back. You may well find that you can open one leg far more effectively than the other leg. And back. 7, and back. 8, and back. Keep that core engaged. 9, and back. Final one. 10, and back. Well done. Breathe in, and then on an outward breath, float your right leg down to the floor, and then your left leg down to the floor. Make sure you don't overarch your back as you take your feet down to the floor. Fabulous. Our final stretch is what's called a figure 4 stretch. Really, really good exercise for opening the hips and also for lower back pain. Take your left ankle and cross it over your right knee. Engage your core, engage your pelvic floor muscles, raise your right thigh and then clasp both hands behind the thigh. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed and away from your ears and your neck long. And we're going to hold this for a count of 30 or the 3 breaths. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unlock your hands Let your right leg float down to the floor and uncross your left ankle. You're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left thigh, take the hair out of my mouth, raise my left thigh, clasp my hands behind it, keeping my neck long, my shoulders relaxed. Breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. Breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. Breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. Letting go with my hands, letting my foot float down to the ground, uncrossing my ankle and letting that foot also float to the ground. Rolling over to your side and sitting up. I hope you'll find these 4 stretches beneficial. There are thousands of other Pilates exercises you can do to help unlock those hips. Thank you.